Hey y'all, it's Jacqueline.
And Adam.
For Pixie Dust PhD. We recently returned, as of the day we're filming this, from our Disneyland California trip. Of course, a huge draw of Disneyland is all of the food. Today we will be going over what we got from quick service locations in Disneyland. Stay tuned. Before we get started, I want to say thanks so much for being here, and thank you to everyone who has liked the video and subscribed to the channel. You can then ring the bell icon to receive a notification whenever we upload new videos. And my extra gratitude to everyone who is a monthly supporter over on my Ko-fi. If you're interested in learning more about supporting me outside of YouTube, I will leave a link to my Ko-fi down in the description below. Let's get to it. Food. So you always hear that food at Disneyland's better than Disney World. We'll maybe touch on that at the end a little bit, but let's talk about our quick service food. We have a separate video talking about food from like table service and lounge experiences. Our first day and a half or so were pretty table service heavy. And then we started kicking off our quick service adventure, starting with we finally made it to the Shawarma Palace in DCA at the Avengers campus. The shawarma was like pretty good, honestly.
Yeah, and they had a really nice like dill dipping sauce that went really well with it. And it's just very good for like walking around and eating. So it was nice to just be able to like pull over to a table and just be able to eat it and be done pretty quick.
Yeah, it's very tasty. It's well seasoned, which again, like maybe a general comment I'll make throughout. I found the seasoning levels to be like surprisingly good at Disneyland. I'm used to the food at Disney World being pretty toned down, more for delicate palates, and this really had a lot of flavor. I will say it is truly just like pita and then chicken. So in a normal shawarma wrap, I think there's often, you know, some veg, a little crunch, like a little variation in texture. I do think that would help a lot if they could just add like a little slaw or something.
Yeah, it was pretty basic, but it was well done and well seasoned, and that's what we got, and we were happy about it.
Yeah, definitely hit the spot. We were also there during food and wine at DCA, and while we didn't partake heavily, we definitely did hit up some booths. You got like an LA street style mini hot dog.
Yeah, it was just covered in bacon and was in slaw and was really good. And we were kind of waiting in line for dessert party, so it was just like, let me just grab this hot dog from over here, and it like really hit the spot while I was a little hungry while we were waiting. Yeah,
it was very small, it was charming, and they really loaded it. Like taking a bite seemed quite challenging. So as with all food booths, I think probably a little overpriced, a little expensive, but at least you did get like a ton of toppings, a lot of bacon.
Yeah, if they skimped the bacon, I would have been pretty sad, but it was really good with how everything was portioned out.
Would you buy it again?
I would, yeah.
There you go. Luckily for us, Jolly Holiday was open again by the time we went there. It had been closed for a while, and I was, before the trip, pretty convinced that we just weren't gonna get it, but it opened back up, yay! So kind of on our way out of Disneyland one day, while we were gonna go take a break, we stopped in to grab some snacks.
So we got the toffee nut cold brew coffee. It was one of the seasonal drinks, and it was way too sweet for our palate,
even for me, which I think says a lot.
So what we ended up doing is actually going to Starbucks on the walk back to our hotel and getting a double espresso and pouring that into the drink to balance everything out. And it did wonders. Yeah,
that was really good. Like I would buy that drink if Starbucks wanted to make a toffee nut espresso cold brew blend. Like that was good.
Yeah, they really mellowed it out because it was way too sweet.
And also to snack with a coffee, we got a Matterhorn macaroon. This is the coconut like macaroon, not a macaron. We'd had that before in our last trip in 2022. Same thing, pretty good. You don't even really like coconut and you still like that.
Yeah, it went great with the coffee and was a nice little snack on the walk back.
When we returned to the parks that day, we went over to DCA, and rather than really sit down and have a big meal, we were trying to snack a little bit more, so kind of eat our way through the parks. Specifically then, so we got small bites. So we had a kids teriyaki from one of the quick service locations in San Francisco, and we also got a burrata toast. This was a food and wine special, but it wasn't at a food and wine booth. You picked it up from the standard quick service location of Aunt Cass's Cafe. I thought both of these were really good. Like, I mean, so I love teriyaki. I grew up in Washington State. Seattle teriyaki is kind of a big thing. I've lived out on the East Coast now for over a decade, so I really miss like that kind of style teriyaki. And so this really scratched like a nostalgia itch for me. And as a kid's meal, obviously it's small, but it's also like pretty cheap. So I was happy with it.
Yeah, it was definitely achieved our goal of getting like small bites. And it was definitely not very large, but I think for the price you pay at Disney, like it was pretty decent portions, and it definitely scratched that itch.
Yeah, the rice was weirdly dry, which like I would have guessed they just had an industrial rice cooker in the back, so you'd think it would come out good. So the rice was a little disappointing, but the teriyaki itself was pretty good. So yeah, no complaints there. And then the burrata toast was definitely good. It is more of the other things than burrata. Like, yes, there was burrata on it. Yes, you got hints of that on your palate, but it was way more like veggie balsamic forward. But it was still super tasty, and like the bread it was on was delicious.
Of course, you know it was sourdough.
Yeah, obviously. So that's definitely an item. I know that that is seasonal, but if it wasn't, or if it came back for another festival, I would get it again for sure. I definitely thought it was worth the money. Same with kids teriyaki. Like, it wouldn't be my go-to by any means, but yeah, I would get it again. Then sometime shortly after that, we continued our food and wine adventure. So we got both of the mac and cheeses they were offering. This was a sirloin Gruyere mac and cheese, as well as a birria mac and cheese. So the macs themselves were different. They had like different bases. The birria one was more classic standard yellow-orange mac and cheese versus the sirloin one was a white mac and cheese, and then obviously the meat toppings were different. These were both, again, a little expensive because you're paying food and wine prices and the portions aren't huge, but they were at least hearty, and again, on like a colder day, it was pretty satisfying.
Yeah, and it was really fun to have them both at the same time and just alternate bites and try and build your perfect bite and compare and contrast the different sauces. One of the mac and cheeses was more garlic forward, which we definitely enjoyed. Versus the other, which was more of the birria, heavier, like slow roast meat kind of mac and cheese.
Yeah, I think the sirloin Gruyere mac and cheese was from the Garlic Kids booth, so it had some like breadcrumb topping with some garlic chunks, and we love garlic, so that's fine for us. I didn't find it like overly garlicky. I think most people would find the level fine, but it was obvious when you got a bite with those toppings. I would say overall, I think we both preferred that Gruyere mac and cheese.
I agree.
The sirloin bites though were like tough, which I understand because you're cooking it en masse. But at the same time, if they had just cut them up to be smaller pieces, the issue was that the pieces were so big that you had to bite through them. If the pieces were just smaller, like it would have been a 10 out of 10. Nothing against birria mac and cheese, it definitely still was tasty. I didn't have any issues with it, but yeah, 1-to-1 when you're eating them both at the same time, for me, sirloin mac and cheese for sure.
Yeah, I have to agree. We traded a lot of bites and we were very meticulous about our analysis, and it definitely was not the birria's churn to win, but it was still a very good dish, and I'm glad we got it. It just was not the winner on the day.
Also, of course, we did get a Dole Whip. I feel like, I don't know, I have to get a Dole Whip when I go to Disney. We have a general tradition where someone will post up in a longer line or waiting for a nighttime spectacular. The other person will go get a Dole Whip and then come back, meet up, and we snack while we wait. So this time we did get our Dole Whip waiting for the Mickey's Mixed Magic fireworks. Side note, the crowds for that are not anything comparable to Disney World in my opinion, which is fun. You do not have to queue up an hour early to get a decent spot. That being said, the fireworks, in my opinion, also are not nearly as good as anything in Disney World. At least for Mickey's Mixed Magic, I've heard that there are other nighttime shows like Wondrous Journeys or whatever that are banging, but this is pretty short. I think it's only like 7 minutes or something.
Right.
And I think the crowds react to it appropriately, which is, yeah, I'm not gonna queue up for this for an hour. So you don't need to stake out your spot super early, and you can have your snack much closer to showtime than at Disney World. And then whenever we made our way back to DCA, it was more snacking time. So we did get the quesabirria taco, again from one of the quick service locations in San Francisco Square. Comes with 2 tacos and some consomme, and boy, was that good.
During that same meal, we also got the quesabirria ramen, and that was just really fun to have those both at the same time. I thought they were both excellent. I would 10 out of 10 probably get both of those again. Yeah,
I'd definitely get both again. Again, on a chillier day, the ramen was super satisfying.
Absolutely.
In a way that, probably isn't gonna be true in August.
No doubt about that.
Quesabirria taco, I would get any day, anytime, any weather. Like, I'm sure it's not real quesabirria. Like, we're not from Southern California. We're not from a taco capital in the United States. So sure, I am willing to readily admit that it is not traditional in any sense. But it was really good. And with 2 tacos, perfect for sharing.
One thing I will mention is it wasn't on mobile order one day and it was on the other, which was kind of weird. But I would say mobile order is definitely the way to go because that line gets outrageous.
Yeah, we assume it wasn't on mobile order the one day, maybe because they were out. I don't know. We just kind of were like, we knew we had other days left, so we were like, we'll check back on this another day. Worked out fine. Yeah, there was a lot of birria in DCA and no complaints from me. For dinner one day, we went to Pim's Test Kitchen with the whole family. I got the reactor melt, which is like a vegetarian pesto tomato good situation. Comes with some tater tots. And then we also got the Red Rage wings. I think those were limited time. They were like spicy habanero wings and they're dyed a very unnatural color of red.
Yeah, I think to celebrate the Red Hulk, perhaps, but it was definitely spicy as advertised, and it was also like a little on the sweet side too. And it was just very fun novelty, and I was craving some hot wings, so they definitely hit the spot, but I don't think we necessarily finished them all because I also got a Thai burrito from one of the food carts, which was kind of in the Hollywood area.
Yeah, so I think it was Studio Catering Co. And again, this was like a limited time thing for Food and Wine. It was so good. It had like chicken satay in it and then some noodles and some other like Thai inspired flavors, but mostly it felt like a chicken satay burrito. So yeah, we had that kind of combined at dinner. My family had, you know, whatever little kids meals they got from Pim's Test Kitchen. Everyone was happy, but I was surprised with how good that sandwich was for being quick service in the theme park. It did not beat the Parmesan crusted grilled cheese from Hearthstone Lounge, but of course that's a sit down experience. This is quick serve, but it was pretty good. And yeah, the wings definitely were spicy. They were very sauced. There was like a heavy amount of sauce, which of course you can just scrape off or use for your tots or whatever. But yeah, if there's other specialty wings in the future, like if you don't like your wings saucy, I suspect they might do that technique in general. And yeah, the burrito was killer. If that ever comes back on another menu or any kind of twist on it, I would definitely get that again. We don't really eat proper breakfast even on theme park days. We understand you probably should, but whatever. We kind of like to get going, take advantage of rope drop, and then, you know, eat soon after. Mostly that ends up being a snack. So one of our Disneyland mornings, we ended up getting the cheesy garlic pretzel bread from Maurice's Treats, though I think it's available at a few carts around. Boy, is that thing good. I mean, it's exactly as advertised. It's a pretzel bread loaf. They kind of slice it down the middle and insert some gooey cheese with some tasty herbs. I don't even know, but it's so restorative at, you know, 10 a.m. after you've been going for a couple hours at the parks.
Yeah, super heavy, rich, but it's just cheesy pretzel garlic bread, and it hits the spot.
And you can get it early in the morning, which getting things before about 10:30 or 11 a.m. can be challenging.
Especially if you want something savory.
Yes. So, I mean, it's overpriced for being a bread loaf. It's like definitely expensive for just being cheese and bread, but it is very tasty and I absolutely would buy it again. And our last real quick service experience was at Docking Bay 7, which I don't know that we've really properly eaten at Disney World before. So this was definitely new to us, definitely at Disneyland, and I think at Disney World we got a proper meal there. So you had some chili noodles and I got like a green salad with some marinated chicken.
Yeah, my chili noodles were definitely nice and like warm heat spicy, not like super spicy like the chicken wings that I had earlier. And they were also covered with this ground sausage, which was really good.
Yeah, and again, it was actually like properly seasoned and flavored. You get chili noodles at Disney, you're like, this is gonna be so bland, but it was really tasty. I was impressed. And my greens was, you know, mostly cold, which again, it was a colder day, so I thought it might come as a warm salad. The chicken was warm, everything else was cold, but it was really well flavored. I think there was some kale in there, which I don't normally love, but it tasted pretty dang good. There's some quinoa, some crunchy bits, just every bite was like a little exciting pop on my palate. And you also got the black calf cold brew with like the Cocoa Puffs on top. That is something we've had before, but yeah, I think a favorite, right?
Yeah, and my favorite part is just drinking the cream cheese cream that's on top. Just like it's like you're drinking cereal coffee. It's fun.
And one of the perks definitely of Docking Bay 7 at Disneyland, if it is a colder day, is there is indoor seating.
Yes.
I generally found that there wasn't a ton of indoor seating for quick service at either of the parks out in Disneyland Resort. Again, Southern California, you expect the weather to be great most of the time, but if it is a chillier day, you want to prioritize being inside, Docking Bay 7 is the way to go.
Yeah, we definitely had to wait a little bit for finding enough seating for the large group, but we were persistent and we were also there a few minutes early, so it all worked out in the end.
And how could I forget, but on our way out, our last night, we took a snack back to the room. So we stopped by Jolly Holiday once again and grabbed their birria toasted cheese. This is a melt. It's a grilled cheese with a bunch of birria inside, and you do get consomme once again. Yeah,
it was, I think, the last thing we got on our way out as like a packing snack. So it was definitely like a late night snack kind of situation. And as you can imagine, that hit the spot. We actually carried it all the way back to our room, and it was held up through in the microwave for a few, like 20 seconds, 30 seconds, and it was good to go.
It's definitely not something we needed. We definitely weren't necessarily hungry. Like we probably didn't need a snack, but it had just been on my list. I really wanted to have it. We hadn't slotted it in any other days. We're like, you know what the heck? Like we'll get it. We don't have to finish it. We did finish it. It was tasty, although I don't think it was my favorite birria item. Quesabirria tacos for me definitely were a standout as a favorite, considering that that wasn't like a food and wine special. You should be able to get that hopefully for a long time moving forward. I hope they don't take it off the menu anytime soon.
Yeah, and I really like the ramen. The quesabirria ramen was so good. And just being able to like dip the meat and the soup and then get the noodles, it all came together really nicely.
And I will say the coffee hack, although pretty expensive once you consider you're buying a Taki Nut cold brew and you're buying a double espresso, but once those are married, very delicious, like kind of the perfect balance for me.
And a real good pick-me-up after a morning in the parks with some small children.
And overall, comparing Disneyland to Disney World quick service, I know people talk about this all the time. It's kind of like a given that Disneyland has better food. I have a little bit of a controversial take where I think that the quick service food at Disney World that is outstanding, like Satu'li Canteen, is S tier. I don't think anything we ate at Disneyland quick service comes to that level. But I do think that there is more kind of in the A and B tier at Disneyland Resort than Disney World. So you're getting like higher quality choices overall, but the star of the star to me is better at Disney World.
I can see that. However, I think that for me personally, just some of the stuff at the San Francisco and just the amount of the options in Disney Land Park are just outstanding, and I have to give the edge to LA when it comes to quick service.
That's fine. If we're talking Castle Park to Castle Park, obviously Disneyland California beats Magic Kingdom in Walt Disney World. But if you're talking the whole resort, if you say, which quick service would you rather have for the rest of your life? I'm picking Satu'li Canteen.
Okay.
What are you picking?
Oh, I think non-festival situation. That's a really good meal, but I really enjoyed what we had at Docking Bay 7, and then also...
They have that at Disney World.
I know they have that at Disney World. They're both in space, okay?
Okay.
Yeah, space spices, you know?
There you go.
And then also just the amount of birria, just too much in its favor.
The birria at Disneyland was really good. It's nice to have that. And yeah, things were definitely like better spice, better flavor at Disneyland overall. I still just think Satu'li Canteen is like the GOAT. So that was a recap of our quick service experiences out at the Disneyland Resort. If you have any questions, leave those in the comments down below. We'll do our best to get back to you. Thanks again so much for being here. And remember, if you found this entertaining, informative, or enjoyable at all, please do remember to hit that like button. Thanks again. We'll see you real soon at Pixie Dust PhD.
Bye.